Hello everyone, welcome to the Winter Study Group for Introduction to 3D Art and Blender 3D. This is being conducted by the Mindstorm chapter at Habib University. So, when I usually give this presentation, I show what's possible with 3D art and like Blender 3D in general. But for the sake of this video, I'll skip that for now. You can watch this at your own time. Uh, So where is Blender used, you may say? It's used for things like architectural visualization, product rendering. It's used to make 3D models for biological representations, augmented reality, virtual reality. It can also be used to render out your CAD designs in a much more elegant manner. It's also used for animation, VFX work. If you've seen VTubers, तो उनके models भी बनते हैं. It's also used for game assets, make taking motion capture data, 3D printing, motion graphics, things like that. So it has a lot of uses. Depends on where you need to use it. So 3D art has a lot of software, or like 3D design in general. We'll be focusing on Blender. So these are some of the softwares which these companies use. It's not necessary to know a specific software. If you have the skill of like 3D art in general, then those skills can be transferred to other software as well. So since Blender is free and open source, and it has like the best community right now, we'll be going with that. So it can do almost anything. You can see these videos at your own time. These are some of the features which Blender currently has. This is an old video, so there's even more features now. ये एक movie थी called Next Gen. It was completely made in Blender, so you can see the power Blender has. You can watch these at your own time. So moving on. बेसिक्स ऑफ 3D 3D में 3D डिजाइन एंड आर्ट में एक स्पेसिफिक पाइपलाइन होती है. सो यू कम अप विद द आइडिया, द स्टोरी बोर्ड, एनिमेटिक. ये थोड़ा 2D आर्ट की तरफ चला जाता है. फिर इफ वी स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द प्रोडक्शन, देयर्स लेआउट, देयर्स R&D कि हमें क्या बनाना है, क्या चीज़ें करनी है. फिर मॉडलिंग होती है, टेक्सचरिंग होती है, रिगिंग या सेटअप होता है. Rigging is basically giving a a skeleton to your models, using that to animate your models, and for VFX, lighting, rendering, these all things. Modeling में हम मॉडल बनाते हैं. टेक्सचर में हम उसको कलर देते हैं, उसको फील देते हैं कि इफ यू इमेजिन जस्ट अ ग्रे ब्लॉब, वो कुछ नहीं होता है. इफ यू कलर इट टू बी अ फुटबॉल, तो वो फुटबॉल दिखेगा. इफ यू कलर द सेम स्पेसिफिक बॉल टू बी ऑरेंज, तो वो बास्केटबॉल दिखेगा. तो थिंग्स लाइक दैट. रिगिंग होती है गिविंग अ स्केलेटन टू योर मेश, या जो आपका ऑब्जेक्ट होता है. एनिमेशन इज बेसिकली एनिमेटिंग दैट यूजिंग द रिग या स्केलेटन. तो आफ्टर दैट कम्स लाइटिंग, के लाइटिंग कैसी है, कैसे इफेक्ट्स आ रहे हैं, वाइब कैसी आ रही है. रेंडरिंग इज बेसिकली कन्वर्टिंग योर 3D डेटा इनटू लाइक अ 2D इमेज या 2D फिल्म. पोस्ट प्रोडक्शन के हम कुछ कंपोजिटिंग देखेंगे. बाकी चीज़ें आर basically things related to video editing software, so we'll skip those. So in this winter study, we've planned to actually cover modeling, texturing, particle systems, modifiers, rendering, color, and composition to a certain good degree, which I would say. We'll also be touching on basic lighting methods, basic rigging or animation, and maybe and animation, some basic compositing, कुछ और चीज़ें भी हम देखेंगे. In addition to that, we'll also share a few videos on how you can optimize your 3D scenes, ताकि ये ना हो कि आप एक सीन रेंडर कर रहे हैं, एक फ्रेम रेंडर होने में उसको 4 घंटे लग रहे हैं. फिर आप एक 30 फ्रेम्स की यानी 1 सेकंड की क्लिप रेंडर में होने में आपको लाइक 2 दिन लग रहे हैं. तो देयर आर सर्टेन वेज टू गो अबाउट दैट, ताकि वो जल्दी ऑप्टिमाइज होके आपको रेंडर दे. सो विल बी लुकिंग इनटू दोस एज वेल. हम फिर थोड़ा ये भी देखेंगे फोटो रियलिज्म क्या होता है, लो पॉली क्या होता है, स्टाइलाइज्ड आर्ट क्या होता है, थिंग्स लाइक दैट. So how the study groups will be conducted, this is important now. We will share video-based tutorials with you. If there's text-based tutorials and cheat sheets as well, we'll share those with you as well. You have to go through the tutorials at your own pace. हम आपकी ट्यूटोरियल फाइंडिंग की या बीइंग ओवरवेल्म्ड कि मैं कहाँ से शुरू करूँ, क्या करूँ, कैसे करूँ, इतनी सारी चीज़ें, विल सेव दैट हैसल फॉर यू, बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे गोइंग थ्रू दोज़ ट्यूटोरियल्स, डूइंग थिंग्स ऑन योर ओन, दैट वुड बी अप टू यू। उसमें फिर हम आपको फोर्स नहीं कर सकते। You will place your questions or queries on the document. So if I come here, we have this document. You can place your questions on this and someone from the team will answer them for you, ताकि आपका काम ना रुके, चलता रहे। Once that is done, we'll also be hosting certain meetups, Zoom के through ही कर लेंगे हम, in a common time slot that everyone decides on, या maybe we'll even have like 2 time slots जिसमें सब आ सकें. These live sessions would be discussing any issues that have come up. Yeah, if someone wants to branch out into new areas, let's say कि एक certain meetup हमारा होता है, उसमें we discuss the differences between photorealism and low poly and high poly modeling, things like that. Someone discovers कि oh, sculpting का ये tutorial बहुत अच्छा था या method बहुत अच्छा था, तो we'll maybe discuss that. So the live sessions would be for that. Uh, Again, it depends on everyone how much work you put in. If you go out, explore more on yourself, so everyone would get the chance to learn a lot from each other. So that's kind of what we're trying to go for. Throughout the 2 weeks, participants will either cumulatively work towards a common project or a project of their own choosing. This is still to be decided. We will assign a project to you to work on at the end of the 2 weeks, or like a cumulative project that you work on, but you can also choose to make something on your own if that's something which you want to do. This will be a soft prototype or like a low poly model, something like that, keeping in mind the time constraints. So week 1, day 1 to 8, the first thing to do is install Blender. That's like the main primary part. Uske baad, you will follow the tutorials in this playlist and post your questions on the Q&A. So if I just open this is a playlist by Blender Guru. Uh, I would suggest you do 2 tutorials per day, but I know most of you might not have that much time. Yeah, you don't want to dedicate that much time. So I'd suggest at least do 1 tutorial per day, and जहाँ पे छोटे tutorials हो, maybe do 2 of those. So spend like 30 minutes on tutorials and 30 minutes doing it on your own. If you can spend more time, I would suggest an hour on tutorials and an hour to 2 on doing it on your own. So you follow the tutorials at your own pace, but try to finish at least 1 to 2 tutorials each day, and the entire playlist within the first 8 to 9 days. Preferably jitna jaldi sab kar sake, so we'll move on to even more exciting stuff. Remember to try things out on yourself, by yourself, and not only watch the tutorials. So this is sometimes referred to as tutorial hell. So you spend too much time watching tutorials and you don't actually do the stuff on your own, तो फिर आपकी learning नहीं होती. So don't do that. Try things out on yourself, by yourself, sorry. And even I would say branch out, make other things from what you've learned, so that would help you in the longer run. If you get done early, message on the WhatsApp group and further materials will be provided to you. There's a lot to learn. Of course, we have to take the entire batch of people into account, but if you get done early, just send us a message. बहुत कुछ है सीखने को, will provide you with everything. After week 1, tutorials and videos for accompanying concepts such as color, composition, art styles, things like that. जो थोड़ी branching चीजें हैं, but things which really help alleviate your 3D art, those would be shared with you as well, ताकि if someone wants to explore those, they can. So you may be thinking, ये तो बहुत सारा है, ये तो बंदा हमसे मेहनत करवाना चाह रहा है. So how do I get myself to do this much? So I would say consistent effort every day is better than short bursts of work. आप हर रोज भी 1 घंटा भी लगाएं तो that's more than enough to build a good base for Blender. Uh, you can see this accompanying video. It's by the same person, and your price, who runs the Blender Guru channel. So it's about the habits of effective artists, It's a really good video. If you have like 20 to 25 minutes of your time, I would say just watch it on maybe like 1.5x speed. Uh, so how do you find motivation? Why are you doing this? So motivation is something that would come from you. Why do you want to learn Blender? Why do you want to learn 3D art? So it highly depends on that. But to give you a sort of like a motivation boost, if you're interested in movies, you can see this playlist for movies made in Blender. If you're interested in VFX work, for like if you're CND and you want to learn VFX work, तो यू कैन सी दिस प्लेलिस्ट। इस बंदे ने ये पूरा शॉट्स जो है ये ब्लेंडर में कंपाइल किया था। थोड़ा बहुत आई थिंक आफ्टर इफेक्ट्स भी था, बट मोस्टली डन इन ब्लेंडर। तो इफ यू वर्क हार्ड यू कैन अचीव द सेम लेवल ऑफ रिगर। environmental art, if you're interested in that, or maybe product renders, characters। ये एक पर्सन की थी 1 month progress reel, तो you really see के if you put in consistent effort for even like a month or a few weeks तो क्या हो सकता है। and this is just the community work का एक collection या reel जैसे बोलते हैं for SIGGRAPH 2019। So where do I begin? On day one, you are viewing this recording. You will install Blender 3D. Play with it if you like to. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा ख़राब हो जाएगा, डिफ़ॉल्ट लेआउट वगैरह करके सब सही हो जाएगा वापस। Just click random button, see random things से क्या हो रहा है, things like that. Uh, find your motivation. इसके लिए refer to the previous slide. Start learning and start exploring. First day is usually the most overwhelming क्योंकि there's usually a burst of knowledge. If you can, I would suggest start learning from this day. But if you can't, I would suggest just install it, play with it a little, go through these slides, and you'll be good to go. And second day, so you can start actually learning Blender. Uh, Day 2 to 4, step 2 of slide 11. So just go through that playlist and the accompanying steps. Help each other. अगर किसी को कोई भी issue है तो we are trying to kind of build a community. अगर किसी को कोई issue है, किसी और को वो चीज़ आती है तो help them in the WhatsApp group. One just put it on the Q&A document. You can also reach out to us personally as well. We'll try to help you as best we can. And explore outside the provided materials and share with the rest of us. So it's like an endless space. Uh, for example, personally, I don't have that much experience with VFX work in Blender, but if that's something that fancies you, you could go out, learn on your own and share that with the rest of us के ओ मैंने ये specific चीज़ सीखी है Blender में, VFX के लिए बहुत अच्छी है। It helps us to highly alleviate our designs, या इससे बहुत अच्छी मूवी बन सकती है, things like that. तो explore as much as you can and share it with the rest of us. These are some outside the course learning. So this is a video by Blender Guru as well, how to learn 3D in 4 weeks. ये थोड़ा intensive है, much more compared to what we're doing. But if you want to put yourself through it, if you really want to learn to that much of a degree, so I'd suggest go through this video, try to follow it as best you can. The best exercises to improve as a 3D artist, so you can find this video here, the habits of highly effective artists. I would really recommend watching this video. 1.5 pe dekh, so it's like 15 to 20 minutes, so that's a really good watch to have seen. And the 7 best ways to find inspiration. So I'd suggest, yeah, find inspiration, explore, and that's about it. So I'll give you a basic rundown of the rest of the slides. I won't be discussing them right now, but they're just there. We will come to these back after a while. But yeah, so modeling hoti hai basically blocking out your characters. Then there's texturing, applying materials to your characters, making them feel real. There's lighting, as you can see here. Different lighting has different sorts of effects. So that's why that's important. ये होती है rigging, तो giving a skeleton to your characters, making them move, animating them. So we'll cover this as well. Rendering होती है converting your 2D 3D scene into like a 2D representation of it. Different times होते हैं different renderers के, we'll cover that later. Compositing is making your scene look prettier. So if you look here, this is like the basic render they did. उसके बाद उन्होंने कुछ कंपोजिटिंग की, तो ये सारे इफेक्ट्स और ये ग्लो एंड ये सब आ गया, तो विल कवर सम ऑफ दैट एज वेल. This is the latter theory. We'll cover this later in the weeks. Color composition, post processing, optimization. ये photorealism क्या होता है, stylize क्या होता है, low poly क्या होता है, things like that. Organic hard surface modeling क्या होता है. uh, this is a really good book. I would suggest if you have time, go through this book. It's called Steal Like an Artist. So it basically tells you how you can take inspiration from the work of others, but not necessarily steal their work, but like use that inspiration in a positive manner. So there's that. And I'd honestly say see the world around you, because in 3D we have a saying, imperfection is perfection. If you see something like this which is on the left, ये चीज आपको लाइफ में कम ही दिखेगी. You'll mostly see something with scratches, yeah, if you say like here smudges, rust and things like that. Hard corners नहीं होते, sharp edges नहीं होती. So once you're starting this winter study group, I'd say after a few days, yeah, maybe शुरू से ही start to see the world around you in kind of like a different light. कि कहाँ पे मिट्टी कैसे जमा होती है, कहाँ पे कोने कैसे होते हैं, कहाँ पे like जनरल डे टू डे स्टफ. इवन इफ यू कंसिडर लाइक योर मोबाइल फोन्स, उस पे कहीं पे थोड़ी कहीं मिट्टी जमी हुई होगी, कहीं पे मोबाइल पे स्मजेस होंगे, कहीं पे कुछ होगा. तो स्टार्ट नोटिसिंग दैट, because once you do that would really help alleviate your art to like the next degree. बहुत अच्छा काम होने लगेगा, वरना it would kind of look unrealistic. But we'll cover all of that later, so you don't need to worry too much about that. These are some YouTube channels which you can follow, uh, communities you can be part of, and that's about it, I think. Yes. So that's that, and see you all throughout these 2 weeks, and hope we get to learn a lot from each other. Thank you, and bye bye.